Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today on the show, I have a longtime SBA expert with the entire Diamond Financial team, and they've been committed to the success of intermediary communities since 1996. They serve high-volume broker offices, and Steve Mariani, who we have on the show, travels the country explaining the many creative methods SBA financing can be utilized to close additional transactions. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dylan. I appreciate you having me. Any chance to get information out there to the public is always a blessing for me, and that's what I live my life for: advocacy for small business. So I appreciate the opportunity of sharing information.
Absolutely, Steve. I always like to start off at the top by asking folks, how they got into the business that they're in. I think the SBA is very niche, right? And we were talking before hopping on here. There's not that many people doing it at the level, and you're the biggest in the country. So walk me through how you got started back in '96.
Sure. My career goes back to the 80s, so understand my age. And I began, like I said, being self-employed in the early 80s, and I have lived through many businesses myself. I've owned 7 different companies myself. I've owned 4 that I've started up from scratch. Once I sold my last business in '95, I looked around to determine how could I best serve the people. I'm community oriented. I'm not a fee-driven person. There's not a fee-driven company. So I looked around to see, because what I realized is no one ever helped me. I did get a bank loan the first time, but it was like pulling teeth, and they had no idea it was for business. And I thought that was wrong. So what I did was I went out and decided I was going to learn the SBA product. What I found was there's very little money in it. It's a lot of paperwork and a lot of work. So I knew that's where I had to focus. And that's been my goal since '96, is to understand the SBA rules and help utilize every single one that can benefit clients and help them work with it.
I want to ask you about maybe some granular details about SBA. Maybe give away some of the gold, but not all the gold, Steve. I think a lot of people, when they're starting a business, they're looking at multiple different avenues. Bootstrapping, using their own money, maybe doing as a side hustle while they have a W-2 job. A lot of people might look at finding partners. Some people might look at raising capital. And then I think also people are looking at SBA, but it seems very tricky, I think, for a lot of folks. At what point in time would you say that it would be maybe appropriate for people to go the SBA route? At what point in time in their business, at what scale can they look at SBA?
Great question, Dylan. And really it comes back to, depending upon the size of their business, over 75% are initially started with personal capital, whether it be credit cards or HELOCs or, home equities or whatever the case may be. But once they get to a sustainable portion in their business, it's time to refinance those smaller debts. A lot of the clientele that we work with are already established 5 to 10 years in business, and then looking at the real estate component because they've been paying rent as they grow. And would like to then invest into their own real estate. And that's a big portion of it too. So, once they get to a point where they have debt serviceability,
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
They should be considering SBA on a refinance if it's a startup. A lot of what we do are acquisitions and transfers of businesses on the larger side. A $2 or $3 million goodwill transfer where the business makes $800,000 or $900,000. That could include a piece of real estate, or they could be moving it to a piece of real estate, which is also another blessing. The SBA is a big benefit there.
I want to ask you about what the SBA can be used for. So I'm thinking about the real estate space, right? And how typically when people are talking about financing, they're looking at deal acquisition, right? Or, a construction loan or something along these lines. SBA, can that be used for those types of costs?
They can absolutely be used for those types of costs. Any type of real estate. Here's the rule that I think your base needs to understand. As long as your business is occupying 51% or more of any business purchase, any commercial real estate purchase project, then all of those costs will be covered. So let's just say you're tired of paying rent and you want to go into a building and it's going to take $100,000 worth of upfit and maybe even another $50,000 worth of new equipment to upfit the new place. All that can be included in a single 25-year term when it comes to SBA. And the down payment never goes above 10%. So no matter what your project looks like with all those additional costs, it's only 10% down on a 25-year term. So typically, we're adding cash to a borrower's income.
I have maybe a question. I don't know if you've gotten this one before, but there's a lot of single-family home investors that I work with, and they own LLCs, right? And maybe they would have never considered SBA, but if they're looking at maybe this type of financing, they could potentially use this to acquire a single-family home and maybe do a flip, no?
No. So SBA cannot be used for investment type real estate. So
Okay.
what we're going to cross off are apartment buildings, strip centers, anything that's investment related. Like I had mentioned, we have to occupy 51% or more of the space we're financing. Okay, so if we're doing a strip center, that has 10 stores, as long as you're operating out of 6 of them, the other 4 are eligible. But once it drops under 51%, then it becomes ineligible for SBA. Aside from, and I should point this out, there are some exclusions, which is storage facilities, because that's all real estate and basically investment. Those are eligible under the SBA programs. So there are specific, but typically it's for a business that's looking to just expand into their own real estate, because they're tired of paying. We see sometimes where they're paying $200,000-$300,000 a year in rent for a larger facility, and they could be paying their own mortgage.
There's a lot of people who listen to this show and a lot of guests that I've had who do storage facilities. I'm curious about maybe some of these other plays. What about maybe RV parks or mobile home parks? Would that be
Great
able or
question.
not?
Here's the criteria surrounding those. Transients, which means they're contracted for less than 30 days, as long as the majority of the income comes from transients, then they could be eligible. Again, I believe the rule is 51% of their income comes from in and outs and not long-term leases. Those trailer parks and RV parks could be eligible.
I wonder about Airbnbs then.
Well, I don't know. Airbnbs, well, it comes down to, are you servicing it and doing, are you actively involved in it? If it's just a
Yeah.
piece of real estate that a management company handles for you and you're collecting fees, then no. But if you're actively, we'll relate this to a hair salon. that rents out 30 chairs.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Okay. In theory, that's rental income on those chairs. But
Yeah.
if they're providing their products, or if they're taking their appointments down, or if they're providing services in any way, that could be considered a business and not necessarily investment income. Same thing with executive centers. Those are possibly eligible because of the services that the landlord or owner provides.
I want to pivot a bit here, Steve, and ask you about 504 versus 7A. We were talking a little bit about this before the show here.
Sure, great question. Either program, both of the programs offer a 25-year term with 10% down. So note that. The 7A program is a single lender. It's going to be a little bit higher interest rate, probably, just for comparison terms, 9.5-ish, maybe 9%. It will be 25 years. It will only have a 3-year prepayment penalty, 531 for the first 3 years. Okay, that's the 7A program, which is the one, if the interest isn't a huge factor, that's typically the program that serves our clientele better, versus the 504. The 504 will have 2 lenders. It will be a little bit better interest rate. The current rates are around, I want to say 6.3 or 6.5 right now, all in rate. So you're comparing that 6.3 to 9, but there are 2 lenders, 2 levels of underwriting, and a few more hoops that you have to jump through. But in many cases, it is cost effective. But both programs, like I said, what we care about are the 25-year terms and a 10% down. Now, the 504 typically also comes with a much longer prepayment penalty. How the 504 works is, 504 is what we'll utilize to get us over the $5 million cap, because only 40% of a 504 loan counts against their SBA top limit. Each person gets a limit on SBA of $5 million. So if we're exceeding the $5 million, but there is real estate involved, then we'll usually move that over to a 504 to reduce their SBA exposure and allow more on the goodwill and 7A side. So, but both programs are excellent. Depending upon the specifics of each one could do the job. 10% down, 25-year term.
This is maybe a question you haven't gotten before. I'm curious about the demographic of people using SBA. Is it a lot of people with very established businesses? Are you seeing any younger people getting involved in this space? Is it maybe even, I would say, I don't want to say biased, but maybe some level of that against kind of the younger crowd because you have to have established and maybe there's a lot of hoops to jump through and so on and so forth?
Great question. We're working with a young couple right now in their 20s that have very little to no money down, and they're bringing in personal investors for their down payment. Their acquisition is $2.4 million, but they have direct industry experience. It is a therapy clinic. They have direct industry experience and great credit, just very little down payment. So what they're doing is we're bringing in investors of theirs that are going to own a small percentage of their corporation, and we're going to get that deal done. So it does benefit younger people. There was also a lot of junior PE people that were out there looking for business that do have investors behind them. And there are structures in the SBA that allow for investor money and protect the investors.
I want to branch off that and talk about the criteria to get qualified. I think of, my mind automatically goes to like construction loans and single family homes. And so people need credit and they need, history of paying large debts. If they're younger, oftentimes I sometimes get frustrated because I say, man, people need like a blood sample to get a single family home where I'm from in northern New Jersey originally, although I'm out here in Dallas. But it sounds like there may be some different because you're mentioning experience in the field and then as well as a lot of the other factors, credit, of course. But could you break some of that down for the audience here?
Sure. When we're talking about SBA, we're not typically talking about fully collateralized loans as we are in the commercial real estate industry that we talked about. 504 must be fully collateralized.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
All real estate, equipment, it must be hard assets. Not so much in the 7A. 7A is goodwill. Like I just described, the young couple that we're working with now, it's in a lease facility. There's no real estate involved. It's $2.4 million of all goodwill. So now they have very little equity in their homes, but they do have great credit and they do have a resume. So basically the three things we're going to discuss with any potential client, the three things required are going to be the down payment ability, which we kind of touched on. I need a strong resume. The stronger the resume, the more it helps us in our industry, and good to great credit. If they don't own anything else in the world, they're a good candidate for the SBA program. And those are the people that we help every day, no matter their age. We help many young people.
I think it's interesting to touch on this because you mentioned storage facilities. I think a lot of people who are listening to this will say, I can use an SBA loan to buy storage facilities. And then as far as the resume, if they've already done maybe 2 deals in the storage facility space, they've probably got excellent credit. And now they're thinking, okay, well, I have this other route, which I've really never thought of before. I wouldn't be surprised if more people got involved into that space. I'm wondering, Steve, if you're seeing any trends as far as real estate investors and brokers or people in the space, the types of products that they're using the SBA for. Are you seeing a lot of storage facility? What's maybe a hot item that people are using this for?
So we're not seeing a lot. That's a rule that changed only within the last few years that allowed those because they were typically ineligible due to the investment criteria. But SBA did start allowing them to. So that's getting bigger and bigger. It is. I am starting to hear about some storage facility transactions happening. What we always want to explore is what's available conventionally and what's available SBA. And that's the first conversation I'm going to go through because if it is an advantage for them to go conventionally, if they can get typically what we see around here on a conventional level is 10% down, maybe 15% down, but on a 20-year term with a 10-year balloon. So a lot of, especially longer term investors, do they want to have to deal with the 10-year balloon or anything like that where they can just set this up and then move on to their next transaction a lot of times. But like I said, if they can qualify for conventional, we're going to be looser than conventional, no question about it. If they can't qualify for conventional, they probably can qualify for SBA, depending upon the criteria. And that's really going to be the difference. We're getting at least in a 504, 40% is going to be guaranteed by the government, but there's going to be little exposure because it is fully collateralized with the real estate in that specific transaction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm shocked that there's another option for folks if conventional is giving some issues. Steve, I do want to know, we are coming up on time here. Where can folks go maybe to learn more about SBA or to reach out to you or get in contact with you?
Sure, we're at easysba.com. That's our website. We've been around, like I said, 30 years. There's a wealth of information on there. You can get pre-qualified through us. There's a lot of options and a lot of avenues of information on our website. I put out informational sheets. I also put out a monthly newsletter with all the latest changes on SBA for my brokers throughout the country. We have a following of a few thousand brokers that monitor. And like I said, what I do is I interpret any of the new rules into what affects actual transactions. And that's the information that I put out so that the street can understand when the SBA makes a change, it could be 25, 30 changes and it could be 40 different pages. So that's the interpretation that I determine. And then I put out the information to the public. So any of this can be found on there. You can go, I think right on our homepage right now is what I put down as the SBA broker cheat sheet. And the reason I put that in there, it's kind of a summary because June 1st, a lot of our SBA rules changed. So I put out this simple broker cheat sheet right on our homepage for every broker in the country to get at least a quick understanding of what's changed and what affects your transactions.
A lot of new information for me, and I think a lot of investors will be excited to hear about this option. Steve, thank you so much for the information and for coming on the show here today.
Sure, Dylan. Absolutely. One last note. When it comes to your investors, like I said before with this young couple, they can be investors and be completely protected. No guarantees or anything else. So if we are talking to investors, there are avenues that they can help people get into business and benefit. But no, I appreciate the time. I appreciate you sharing the information. And, the more people we can help, the better.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.